Hello. It's very cold here in London. Rain 1 minute, sun the next, snowing after that. Anyway, enough about the crap English weather. Well, we're on episode 9 of Shogun. Can you believe it? We're already on episode 9. Quite a lot to talk about today. Let me bring in my usual panelists, the gang of shinobi, all of them, ninjas of the high arts. First, it's blue collar loser. How are you?
Episode 9, man. Crimson Sky.
I know. It wasn't so much Crimson Sky, but anyway, we'll get into it.
Yeah, it's kind of a misleading title, but
it is very misleading. Very misleading. We've also got Leroy in the house. How are you?
What's up, fellas?
Good to see you. Exciting times. Only one episode left. I'm a little bit worried about that.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later. We also have the man with the unique microphone system. Darth Plato is here.
Hey, I'm just suffering in 75-degree weather out here in California. Don't mind me.
Your sound sounds normal today.
It does.
Yeah, I decided not to use Blue's microphone anymore, so you can have your microphone back.
Oh, there you go. Oh, God, can't get used to this. That's normally a comedy feature of the stream. People might demand it back. We'll see what happens. And whoa, we got echo. I'm gonna have to.
Oh yeah, it's not coming from me, but I can see it coming from my end. So, damn, I don't.
It's not coming from me, but it's coming from my end. That makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. Right, let's see if I've got any hidden tabs somewhere. Let me have a look.
You're going to have to mute yourself. Hang on.
Right. Didn't start echoing.
I'm muting Luke unless he's talking. So you're going to have to mute yourself, mate, whenever you're not talking.
Look at this professional setup here.
It's not me for a change.
Yeah, I'm not having no echoing nonsense on my stream. So, yeah.
What a good show.
I think if you're just the only one talking, Northern, it'll be all right. But if any of us talk, we're going to echo through your system. So when you talk, you're going to have the floor to yourself. Okay, we've got a few people in the chat already. Good to see Drew Gordon back again. Navzarion is here. I get a picture of a Nazgul when I see this guy posting. I don't know why. Dan Candy is here. You know what else is misleading? Calling this Shogun. Can tell he's very angry. Okay, I think
Dan Candy's starting to get on my
mind. He's not entirely wrong about that, by the way.
You live in Panelists, isn't that where the oil fields are in Russia? Because I seem to remember they're always a major invasion goal in the Russian campaign board game, the Panelists oil fields. Northern, you're back. And you still have the same problem. Gonna have to mute you again. Right, okay. Oh. Okay, so yeah, just unmute yourself when you want to talk, mate. We'll be quiet.
Northern sounds like he's Lou Gehrig giving his farewell speech.
I'm worried about episode 10. Might be a cliffhanger before a potential battle. Yeah, if they don't give us a battle, I'm going to be very annoyed. I will say that now.
Well, episode 10 is the last episode, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Adam Gray is here. Yeah, so we'll get into it. Okay, I'm going to do my usual breakdown. I see we have images
for you.
Do you want to pop these up as I talk us through the plot?
Sure.
Yeah, is that all right? Cool.
I was doing chronological order, so
fantastic. It's almost like we've organized it, isn't it?
Fantastic.
Great stuff. Just for those people watching, by the way, I am being interviewed not long after this on Diabolical Souls channel. I think probably an hour or so after we come down, and I'll put the link for that in the chat now in case anyone wants to tune in. John Travolta's here as well. Man, we might get Michael Cera and John Travolta in tonight. Let's see. There we go. The Nolan brother will close it with the next season, Shogun World. Yeah, it could be quite. That's good. You could link it into Westworld, and this entire storyline. The twist could be that Mariko and Anjin are actually two players in the Oriental, zone of Westworld. I'd buy that. Yeah, there we go. All right. Okay, so let's let's move on. It ends with this. Yeah, if it ends with "this means war," they've already said that about 5 times. So I don't think it's going to end with "this means war."
Yeah, they said that at the end of the episode 4.
Yeah, we'll see. Right, okay. I've done a breakdown. Forgive any factual inaccuracies, and of course, as per usual, Darth will jump in if I get any of the names wrong, and if he doesn't do it quick enough, we can depend on Leroy to interrupt him. Okay, so here's a quick summary of the story. Opens with a flashback. Young Mariko trying to escape, as we can see from this picture. The set is actually the set from the film Alien, and you've got the weird alien rocks behind. Not quite sure what's going on there, but I didn't mind it. It's fine. You know, they're trying to make it look a bit different from the rest of the show. That's acceptable. But it was a bit like, oh, looks like the planet from Alien. And this is a flashback to her as a teenager. It's during one of her many escape attempts, we learn, trying to escape from the lords, of which she's been bestowed to spend her life with, effectively. I'm guessing this is one of the escape attempts after she's been forced to marry that guy, or is it before? Do we know that?
After, and she's pregnant.
Right. Okay. All right. So during her pregnancy. Yeah, we'll talk about her son in a little bit. So then we have a scene with Mariko and the priest. And this is the priest that we've already encountered, the young one. I'll call him the sort of reasonably kind of non-aggressive, the one that was the one who actually acts like priests should. He tries to be quite godly, shall we say.
I think his name is Martin Alvito.
That's the one. Oh my god! Look, I've got to mute you again. Right. Okay. So yeah, and then Mariko first recites the Lord's Prayer, and she's given her crucifix, which of course we've seen her wear other times in the show. I've got a note about the priest, which I'll come back to at the end of my summary. The main yeah, I'll come back to that, my point about the priest later. So then we cut to when we have our credits, we cut to onboard ship. I do love these ships. And while I think of it, and if somebody wants to search for it while I'm continuing, a trailer has just dropped for a new I don't know if it's a Japanese film or if it's a Chinese film, but it's set in this era. It's a sort of supposedly partly based on a true story, and it's made by the same people that made the film Warring Currents, if you've seen that, which is basically about a massive naval battle in this era. I think it's a Chinese movie. The trailer for this new one, it looks amazing. So I think that's a film we're probably gonna.
Hey, why not?
Yeah, I can't remember the title of it at the moment, I'm afraid. Okay, so on board ship, Anjin and Mariko have a scene. Anjin wants to know why she's been sent here to join them on the mission to Osaka. She's not really giving anything away. Anjin is instructed by Yashabi to stay close and basically not say anything when they go in the castle. When they arrive at the port of the city, he's heard to remark how much he hates this place. You can tell he doesn't want to go back there. He knows he's kind of being used in a port as a pawn, but he doesn't seem to. He can't really work out how or why, but he knows something's up. Mariko goes to see Lord Ono's family, who are being kept in the castle essentially as prisoners, in order to keep influence with the various people that are on the what's the name of the council called? Council Regent. That's it. Yashabi and Anjin have a little exchange when he sort of speaks part in Japanese. I like that scene. It's very short, but it's very good. And then after that, Mariko meets with Kiri, which is the scene here. And they speak of, Lady Shizu making the castle a cruel place for them to stay. They're in constant fear. Mariko delivers a note to this lady from Toranaga. We don't know what it says. It's supposed to be, I think it's purported to be a poem, but I think we all know that's not. Then we have a scene with the priests and the Spaniard. The Spaniard character has really not been used in the film much. This is really only like his second or third scene since episodes 1 and 2. I was expecting us to get a bit more out of him.
Yeah.
There's a discussion with the priests who have been in Osaka, and they've noted the new arrivals. They've noted these various envoys and people arriving, and the ship arriving with Anjin. And the Holy Father, he comments, war is coming. He knows something's up. He says Toranaga is planning something. He's not stupid. He can see it. So he knows Toranaga's not going to surrender.
Yeah.
So Anjin is then briefed to bow properly by Yabushi, and he attempts to steer Anjin away from some of the other lords, but he's intercepted by Lord Kayimba of the Council Regents, who actually speaks a little English to Anjin, kind of puts him down, says we don't need any more pirates and brigands here. And Anjin's like, I'm not a pirate. Then we come to potentially one of the most tense scenes in the episode, the Ishido's court. There's two parts to this scene. The first part is Yabushi surrenders himself to the court and at the same time offers condolences on the passing of the mother of the king, to which Lord Ishido replies, hollow words for a traitor. I really like that line. But he says, well, kill me if you wish, but I offer you this gift. Anjin is now under my command. He explains his former rank with Toranaga, explains he's a skillful sea captain. Lord Ishido basically doesn't give a shit and has no interest in him whatsoever, which is his mistake. And they're kind of dismissed. Mariko then enters, and she and Lady Ochiba exchange some rather fierce looks. At first, it's all very pleasant. There's talk of a poetry competition and various other things. But then she announces, I'm sorry, I won't be competing as I'm leaving Osaka tomorrow, which causes a lot of confused and exchange looks. This is the longest scene in the episode. It's cracking. It's a fantastic scene. Very well directed, very well acted. Lady Shizu and the son are expected to leave with her, she informs. Now, Lord Ishido at this moment realizes she's playing him at his own game, especially when she says the line out loud in front of everybody present, including all of the council, unless we are confined here, of course. And he can't admit to that, even though that's what's going on. He says he's asked, he says, well, I'm going to have to ask the regents for a formal review of this matter. And you'll have to stay while they decide. She says, yes, she would be honored. However, my first duty is to my lord, and you must have the manners to let me finish. I'm no peasant to be trod on. Daughter of a lord from a line of samurai 1,000 years old. Great speech. And she gets up and announces she will be leaving the following day and leaves the room. So this really puts the cat amongst the pigeons. We cut to Yabushi and Mariko talking. He's exasperated. Now he definitely knows something is up. He knows that there's a plan within a plan here, but she refuses to tell him anything. He wants to know what Toranaga's up to. And it's obvious that Toranaga doesn't trust him. Yeah, tell me your orders. I can help him. Yeah, right. Sure. So then we have a couple of interesting things here, and I might need to prod Darth for a couple of answers here. Anjin demands to know why she's done this. They have a little scene, and she says she's determined to leave. Anjin's got a great line. You'd walk into a sword just to prove the blade is sharp. I thought that was a great line. I wonder if that line is straight from the book. It's really good. Then we have a scene with Mariko and her son. Here it is on the screen now. So my first question is, because I don't remember if that was the case, and maybe it might just be my brain damage and my shit memory. Have we met the son before in the show? Because I don't think we have.
He was in the first 3 episodes.
He was in the first 3.
Yeah.
See, that's my memory. I've forgotten him already. So I now have no memory of this character, and that unfortunately is my memory for you. I mean, clearly the actor didn't make much of an impression. It's a tense scene between Mariko and her son. They speak in English at one point, which kind of felt a bit odd to me. He informs her he's planning to marry someone within the city, guided by one of the council regents. She forbids it. She says Toranaga's got plans for him to marry someone else. He's fed up of being in this family. Basically threatens to disown her if she continues with her plan, i.e. I am no longer your son. So then we cut to the following day. Mariko attempts to leave. There are 8 guards with her in full body armor, which we learn that this body armor is very ineffective against arrows. And also 20 levies. So she's got 28 troops. And I'm going to show you the set of this. I found it. I'm going to show you this set in a second. They attempt to leave. Shit happens. People die. I love that line. You leave me no choice. Please kill him. And that guy, he's so cool. And he just kills those 2 guys really quick. Then he gets taken out. And yeah, it's a pretty sort of pretty good scene. Very tense. Then we've got Mariko's girl fight, where most of her men being dead, she takes a weapon and tries to fight her way past. I'm going to comment on that scene in a minute. Ultimately, she relents, announces her decision to commit seppuku the next day, as she has failed and dishonored her lord. We cut to a council meeting with Lord Ishido, who's looking very unhappy. Everybody's saying that she won't go through with the suicide, otherwise she'll face an eternal damnation alone. But Lady Ochiba interrupts and says, no, she will go through it. If you allow her to die here, there'll be a revolt. And if you allow her to leave, all the hostages will demand to leave. So basically, she's put them in an untenable position. And Lady Ochiba knows it. She knows that this is all planned. We cut to the next scene. The other ladies of the other families come to join Mariko's house to await the decision of the council and be with her if needs be during that rather horrible decision. Anjin is brought before Lady Ochiba and the young king, ostensibly to have a meeting with her, but this is actually just bullshit. It's a ruse to get Mariko before Lady Ochiba so that they can talk. She's there ostensibly to be his translator, but that's just rubbish. Ochiba talks about their childhood, how Mariko was always one step ahead of her. Even while wars raged, spilling sorrow into their lives, she was the one sort of bright light in her life. It's quite a moving scene, and the story is told to Anjin, so he understands. After this scene, Anjin is angry. He's angry with Toranaga for sending Mariko to do his dirty work and begs her to continue living. If for nothing else, would you consider living for me? Which is a very powerful moment in the episode. So on the walls, Yabushi late at night is offered service instead of death by Lord Ishido. So we know something's up. And we know this guy is going to betray the cause because that's the kind of guy he is. But then Toranaga knew that too. That's why he sent him. So Anjin goes and visits the sand. I'm not sure for what purpose. He kind of draws in it a bit. Then we cut to a scene with young Mariko confessing her sins with the priest. Now, I wasn't sure if this scene was paralleling younger her or if it was happening now or both. I was a little bit confused there.
I think it was happening now.
I think it's happening now, but I think it's a rerun, isn't it, of what we kind of saw previously. There's supposed to be a parallel there. So it's kind of almost like she's given the last rites effectively with the priest again. And then we have the drums announcing dawn. There it is. Mariko starts to begin the rites. She asks Anjin to be her second, which kind of means he has to lop her head off. Not a job that anyone would really want. Looks like it's going to happen. Then Ishido sends message to stop it at the last minute. she's going to be given permission to leave. Mariko and Anjin celebrate this decision. And there's a party and everybody's having booze and a good time. Yabushi is up on the watch, and Northern's back in the green room. We'll bring him in. Don't say anything. Mute yourself. Okay. Is it working now, your sound? Hey.
Yeah, it's not echoing.
Okay, no echo. Well done, mate. Whatever you did, do that again. So there's the party. Yabushi kills the head of the watch. He lets in the shinobi / ninjas, if you like, into the castle. Finally, we get our ninja fight. And then I've got a couple of things I'm going to say about that ninja fight. And ultimately, various people are getting killed. And Mariko sacrifices herself, partly unnecessarily, I would argue, by standing in front of this door. Door explodes. End of episode. So less scenes than some of the others. Now, I'm going to start, and then I'll shut up and we'll come to each of you. I've got quite a few gripes with this episode, actually. I won't give my rating on it yet, and I tell everyone else to do the same, but I've got issues with this episode. So for me, this episode is weaker than the rest for a number of reasons. My first issue with it, so let's say that each of these things would lose at a point, is the Mariko fight scene where suddenly she decides to kind of wield her weapon and become a girl boss in front of all the other people was completely unnecessary, and it just felt like it served absolutely no purpose. Yes, we've seen her train with the weapon before. It was kind of set up, so it didn't feel too forced. But it just felt like the only reason it was there was to give her a girl boss moment. Just the fact that she's walking and arrows are coming down to her feet, or the fact that she was brave enough to try and leave the castle, is girl boss enough. She doesn't need to start wielding a weapon around like she's in some kind of one of those video games, you know. I just, for me, that I felt that was a bit naff. I've got to be honest, and I thought, nah, that felt like a proper box tick. So that let it down a bit. I know they set it up earlier in the show, so they did at least set it up. If they hadn't have set it up, it would have felt proper crap. So it wasn't as crap as it could have been, but they didn't need it. They could have cut that, and it would have been fine without it. Drew says he liked it. I mean, it was performative and meant to be. I get it, but I didn't buy into it. Okay.
My initial reaction is a wasted motion. That was my initial reaction.
Yeah, well,
What is wrong with you guys?
You guys can jump in on all this in a minute. I'm just going to tell you my other issues with this episode. Right. Okay. Was this the same cinematographer as season 8 of Game of Thrones? Because Jesus Christ, when we're in the darkness and all the shinobi are coming in, there are shots when you can't see anything. And I've watched this episode twice, and I've watched that end sequence 3 times. And there are some shots where you literally can't see what's happening. And I found that very, very, very frustrating. And I changed all the lighting in my, waited until it was dark, turned all the lights off, etc. Yeah, so that annoyed me because I just found that confusing. I also thought that whole sequence was actually done better in the Richard Chamberlain version. So I thought that whole fight sequence, the storming of the castle, there was more action. The action was more interesting. I could see what was going on. And I felt more of a sense of a castle. They were running up and down stairs and things like this. It just felt bigger. I get that they were limited on this production a bit. So it was too dark. Action wasn't as interesting. It was okay. But Dan Candy's asking me which shot. I can give you a time code. Just, it wasn't all of it. But whenever they had some kind of candlelight and stuff on the wall, I could see things. But there were some shots I really just couldn't see what was happening. Maybe it's my eyesight. Maybe I'm getting old.
I mean, the Shinobi's they entered the scene about 54 minutes in.
Yeah. Do you want to put that up?
Sure.
Now, I'm going to temper these complaints with, look, apart those grumpy things aside, still a cracking episode, still a great show, still the best thing on television right now. These are gripes, but it's the first time I've had to gripe about something that I felt I had to. That's a very dark shot. I mean, yeah, okay, I can see what's going on there. I can't see what's going on in that shot, though.
Yeah.
You know, you cut to shots like that every so often. I can't see what's happening.
Because it's at nighttime.
I know that, but
Yeah.
the problem is, what it is it's DOPs are now using digital cameras, which can pick up a lot in the dark. So as a result of that, they're using less and less and less lighting. But they're starting to forget that this is television, this is drama, it's a TV show, and we want to see what's fucking happening. You know, I don't need a simulation of it's dark, so I can't see anything. Unless that's part of a joke or a gag, and you've got luminous condoms in the scene or something. If you remember the film in question,
I mean, even here they got some candlelights. Even with the candlelights, it is pretty.
Yeah,
dark.
I mean the
like right here.
Usually when there's candlelight,
very dark.
But you know, there's a lot happening in these scenes, and when there's no light at all, I can see a bit of movement, but I just can't. I couldn't always tell, and I had to watch that sequence 3 times to follow it. So it was a little bit frustrating. Okay, Dan has relented. He can see what I mean. He was fine with that. I didn't mind the low light scenes. It's just with the no light. Anyway, but that's it. That's my gripe. So Blue, tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, favorite scene.
I can almost hear it like in Leroy saying it as well. The Mariko scene, when I was first watching it, because we're so used to modern Hollywood and writing, I was used to a girl boss moment. I was expecting her to just wipe these guys out in 1 or 2 hits. But the fact that she didn't win was what actually would impress me. I think it was a showcase showing that, like, yeah, because she even says afterwards, like, it's impossible for me to beat these men. And by losing this fight, now I cannot live with the offense of, like, disrespecting or, like,
disrespecting her lord.
Yeah, it's like defensive, like not protecting her lord and going on with her orders. So it's kind of a big ruse, because had she won that fight, that would have been different. But the fact that she didn't win the fight, and she tried to take on 10 guys. No, she didn't. She got her ass kicked. And that was that's what I appreciate about that. And like,
yeah, I guess that's a good point, actually. That is a good thing about that scene.
Yeah,
that she did get her ass kicked, and then there is also the subterfuge of, I need to make a show of it, therefore I'm going to justify my execution.
Even to right here,
that's a good point. So it does justify its inclusion.
I keep forgetting what's the Tycho's.
I guess it kind of disturbed me, because I just thought,
yeah. Are you talking about the late Tycho?
Yeah,
his wife's name was Daewon.
Well, yeah, because right here, when I just pause it, Lance, when they're watching the scene, she's horrified too, because I think she's expecting.
Yeah.
Right here,
I remember this bit.
Look at that, but like you can tell, she's just like struggling. Also, these guys are not actually attacking her; they're just like waiting for her, and they're easily just pushing her aside.
Yeah, but they don't want to kill her, because they know if one of them kills her, that whoever kills her is going to get executed right away.
So we said, I'm with you. Initially, I was expecting that, but as I'm watching it, I'm like, no, that's very tastefully done, because it's also setting up the whole thing where her, wanting to commit seppuku, and the whole, it's like, it's almost planned. It's planned in a sense, and it's so much to unpack in that one scene.
Yeah. Okay. Did you have any gripes about the episode?
Honestly, no. Like, I think I liked it maybe more than some people, because the whole scene between her and Ishido, just the fact where she's like telling him, like, no, I'm leaving. No, you're not. Yes, I am. And like the whole, my father was the great lord, and we are the history of 1,000 samurai, and I will never be caged, and like you're not going to hold me down here. And
this scene was fucking amazing. It was great. It was amazing,
because it's just like, and it's just her, because of all the basically the shit she's been through. But like the fact that she's the only person to speak to Ishido this way, he's so offended by it, but she doesn't care.
Yeah.
I'll chop up in a minute.
Okay, and save your which actor you liked the most in this, or that'll be the next question. Leroy, what did you like? What didn't you like about the episode, if anything?
The only thing, one of you guys said that the title of the episode, Crimson Sky, was misleading. That's probably the only thing I'll agree with you guys on. Other than that, I thought the show was off the chart. I thought the episode was off the charts, man. the fight scene between Mariko and the guys. And just for the record, I knew she was gonna die because if I remember from the Richard Chamberlain version, that's how she died. She got blown away. But I thought the whole episode had me on edge. I thought they were do a switcheroo and say that instead of having her blown away, she commits seppuku. I thought I was that close saying, "Oh my gosh, she's gonna do it." And then all of a sudden, it's Sheeta. Like, whew. Then Yabaguchi, that backstabbing, no good SOB, man.
Well, that's all in the Chamberlain version as well. Him doing that.
I don't remember seeing Yabaguchi in the Chamberlain version.
He looks and acts completely different. It's a totally different take on the character. I much prefer this version.
Yeah, I like I said, I like the entire show. I prefer this one compared to the Chamberlain version. So I know some people are going to disagree with me, so I gotta say, what are you smoking? But we have to remember this is from the cultural point of view, the Japanese point of view. So, and that's another reason why I love the show so much. But back to the episode, I'll be honest, I have no gripe to complain. I mean, I thought the end Mariko went out the way she should, as being truthful to the Chamberlain version. I'm mad about Yabashuki. He doesn't even know whose side he's on. He feels like he's playing both sides. I hope in the next episode he gets his just desserts. And I'm also looking forward to see how Anjin, John Blackthorne, moves on. I mean, I'm really hoping I hope he ends up with Fuji. I hope he convinces her not to commit seppuku and be his bride and have a lot of kids.
Okay, Leroy, you're out of time. So, Garth, it's your turn. Tell me what you liked and you didn't like about the episode, and I'd also like to know what's different in the book with this episode, please. That's you, Darth.
I'm sorry, I missed my cue.
Okay, there's only one Darth Vader here. That's you.
All right, so what I liked about the episode, what I didn't like about the episode. What I liked about the episode the most is going to be that big scene where they're all in the meeting room and they're facing off with the Sheeta. That's a great scene. You guys have already contributed to discussion about scenes. I'm just going to add that I think that was my best scene. It is a bit watered down compared to the book. I will mention this part, not to drone on about the book. A very important aspect of the drama here is that Ishida is presuming to speak on behalf of the Taiko's son and Lady Ochiba. So whatever he does reflects on them. So the threat of Mariko committing seppuku reflects on the Taiko. I'm sorry about the noise. There's people fixing my bathroom.
I wondered who it was. I was gradually muting everyone to try and work it out.
Doing a party.
Carry on. Just talk loudly.
All right. So if Mariko dies, it reflects badly on the Taiko's family, the son. I mean, that's that's part of the tension that's not being said here. It's not just Ishida looking bad. It's not just him looking bad, as if Ochiba is just this bystander. She's not a bystander. She has an invested interest in what happens. Now, as far as the worst scene probably is going to be the scene where they're leaving the castle. Now, I want to put a caveat to this. That scene is in the book, believe it or not. The way it plays out, where she stands there and says, stand aside, and they say, no, you don't have a permit. And he says, Captain, kill this man. And he goes up and he kills those guys. That is in the book. And then the arrow comes and kills that guy. She does not wield a naginata. She wields a sword. I don't recall that she actually fought anyone, though. So I think that is something that the episode embellished. On the other hand, I feel at the same time that this is wasted motion. They could have just nipped the whole thing in the bud up in the council room and saying, well, if you say I can't leave, then you're saying I cannot fulfill my duty. Therefore, you go to the seppuku. You could have just went straight to that and saved yourself that whole scene.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't have had this cool scene with fighting and people getting their head.
Yeah, but on the other hand, what would have made that scene a winner, I mean, grand slam out of the park, is if they followed the narrative a little better in the book. That scene is in the book. That's true, but it leaves out the most important part.
Which
when
is
when Mariko is facing off against Ishido's men, all the other women that were being held captive come out to take sides alongside Mariko.
right.
And they say, well, if you're going to do this, I'm going to do this too. So the threat is that Mariko is not the only one who's threatening seppuku. They all are saying, if Mariko does this, I will do this too. That's in the book. It's not in the series, and it's a shame.
That would have been a great scene if they'd all.
That would have been the great scene. That would have been a home run.
Yeah, that would have been really good. Maybe they didn't have enough swords on set, but
See, you got to get Lance right there. Great makeup. I mean, that guy.
yeah, that's me.
Like his hands and fingers.
Yeah.
Like,
Leopard. Oof.
Oh God, yeah.
Leopard is no joke.
Damn, man. So yeah, he's like the king in Kingdom of Heaven.
yeah.
Northern, are your communications functioning, sir?
Well, it's not echoing, so it should be fine.
Good. What did you give me your thoughts? What did you like?
Sorry.
Yeah, tell me what you like and what you didn't about the episode.
I think I did like seeing Blackthorn come start to be a bit more badass again, and actually, call out some of the Jesuits as well on their bullshit, and because he's kind of been a bit, for lack of a better word, nerfed in the last couple of episodes. It's kind of been thrown in the background, but we get to see him fleshed out a little bit more again. And once again we see a bit more of Ishido, but just being a smug bastard. You just want to punch his face in because he's such he's and even despite the assassination at the end where you can't see anything, we did see a nice little. It did get to the moments where Blackthorn was taking them on and actually being a bit of a badass again. He's still on top of the Chamberlain in terms of his presence, but he handles himself well in the action.
Yeah, he definitely shot a lot of guys in that last scene.
Yeah.
At least like 10 people. He's reloading that blunderbuss no ease.
Yeah, wouldn't that taken a bit longer though? Because you got to put like powder in and everything, don't you?
Yeah, but film reloading time takes considerably less.
Like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where he reloads a cannon in less than a minute.
Oh, that's spaghetti western reloading time is completely non-existent. That's a whole different class of reloading time.
Yeah. I know the one part right there, I guess that's, I don't know, he blows into the barrel like as he's reloading. Maybe to cool the chamber down. I'm not sure, but
I thought it was a badass scene also. I like that. Yeah. Now, how realistic is it? I'm not sure.
Anything you didn't like about the episode, Northern?
Well, apart from the fact that we couldn't see the bloody the assassinations when Yabu backstabs everyone. It's I wish we could have had a bit more scenes with Blackthorn and Mariko developing their chemistry some more. That way, after Mariko, spoiler, sacrifices herself, it would have been a bit more impactful. Because when I watched the original after Mariko died and Blackthorn is blinded and he's at the funeral and he can't see her being sent off, but you can really see him welling up inside, trying to not break down while it's happening. I don't know if I'm going to feel that same impact in the next episode.
I feel like they needed one more dialogue scene about their love for each other. I mean, a lot of it is in unspoken looks, and that's very, very how people like to write stuff these days and leave it all up to the actors to give a look and all the rest of it. But I feel with the narrative that they've given them, I felt they'd earned it. I felt they'd earned a bit more of a kind of, not too soppy, but just, I think he should have bared his soul a bit more. I think he should have said, look, I think he should have said something along the lines of, if I ever leave the Japans, it will only be if you come with me. A line like that would have been great. And then if you won't come with me, then by your side is where I'm going to stay. Words to that effect. That would have been quite nice before they had their big smooch.
Because say what you like about the original one, we did get to see Mariko and Blackthorn really develop and bond with each other. We saw a lot of them spend moments together, and you got while they fell in love.
I mean, the chemistry between the two actors here is very good. So it's not like I don't believe it or anything, but yeah,
Yeah, it's
a
not
little
the
bit.
worst. It just could have been developed a bit
Yeah,
more.
I think another scene or two. So you'll remember that we looked at where it was filmed in Canada before, but I couldn't quite find the set. But hey, guys, I found it, and it's still there. Shall we have a look? So this is the rather small film location, and I'll zoom in a little bit, but you can see that this is on this lake. I'll zoom out so you can see exactly where. Here we are, Vancouver, right? Up the estuary a bit, so to speak. Now, I haven't found the location where they built that village section, but this is the Osaka set. So the whole scene where those bowmen are, there it is. These are the castle walls. So those are the two different gates. See the different gates, and that's the sort of big interior courtyard for the castle. So this is Blackthorn's boat with the green screen around it, and this is Osaka town, deliberately built on the shores of the lake so that they could also go out into the lake and then shoot this way, so that it actually looked like a port. So there you go. That's the set. So it's quite small, but I mean also still a pretty big budget set for any production. You can see that they've done the streets in typical film fashion so that you can shoot up this way and you'll have one thing, you can shoot along this narrow alley, you'll have something else, this will be a market square in here, and so on and so on and so on.
I'll give credit that the stuff shot in green screen doesn't look like it's been shot in green screen either. Or at least I've never noticed it anyway.
No, indeed. And I mean, we basically got a row of trees here, and then on top of those trees, they will kind of CGI other things in the background, you know. But yeah, so there you go. That's the Osaka set in Vancouver, and this is these are the studio buildings next door where they would have shot the interiors. So all the stuff with the inside of the castle attack and everything probably was all filmed in one of these. So yeah, there you are. Yeah, so the standout actor, like to hear everyone's views on this. I mean, this is really Anna Swan's episode, I think, Mariko.
I agree.
She's phenomenal in this episode.
I like how Blackthorn is kind of stepping up, and the character of Yabashiki, I now totally hate him. I thought he had some redeeming qualities, but he's a snake, and big ups on the actor who's playing him. It seems like he likes to play roles where he's easy to hate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was kind of hinted in that a couple of episodes back when Taranaga confronted him about it.
Yeah.
There was a scene where Taranaga confronted about him, like, because he knows that he was offered something, wasn't he, to portray him?
Yeah. He was offered his own fief.
Yeah, I like the actor who plays Yabushi. He's very good.
Yeah, he was in Thor, and I think I mentioned on an earlier episode he did a movie with Liam Neeson and the Spider-Man kid and the guy from Kylo Ren called Silence.
Tadanobu Asano, his name is.
Yep.
And he's been in Mongol, Battleship, Thor Ragnarok. So I guess recurring character in the Thor franchise, Mortal Kombat, Detective Chinatown 3. I feel I need to see that.
Yeah, so I like his interpretation better in this because, like I said, there's some things in the old one where we don't feel we get to know some of these characters the way we do in the remake. Same with Buntaro.
I'll tell you what, there's a show I've just found. I'd be very interested to see this. Bet we can't find it in English though. He's in this. I'm just going to put it up for a second. Excuse the diversion of topics. The Tokyo Olympics story, a drama about the 1912 Stockholm Olympics, the 36 Berlin Olympics, and the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. And it's like it's a 47 episode show. And I'm guessing that must be General MacArthur. Yeah,
That's like Tom Wilkinson playing General MacArthur.
so what's gonna happen is I'm guessing you're gonna follow a load of characters, and maybe their relatives who are all connected to the Olympics, and and eventually ultimately ending with it being hosted in Japan. I'd be really interested to see that. I bet that's really good. Going to be difficult to find it though, isn't it?
Yeah.
With English subs, I mean, anyway. Yeah. So, what about you, Darth? Who's the standout actor for you in this episode?
Without question, is Marco. Yeah.
I thought you were going to
who
say
else
that
could it
guy
be?
that got murdered on the castle wall from it. Yeah, Anna Swan.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about the Yabu actor. He is good. I just don't like that he's so badly watered down in this character. I mean, so he's doing a good job for what he's being asked to work with.
He's got a lot more layers in the book, hasn't he?
Oh, phenomenally! It's not
Because
even
you see more of that in the Chamberlain version because he gets more time.
Well, yeah, in the book, you see, they didn't go there to surrender. He fully expected to be able to leave right after that. So this whole thing is being contrived. So I don't know exactly why they're doing that. I think it's all advised on the Shogun's part, but I'll save that for the series review.
Yeah, which we're going to do. Well, we may well do that next week. What about you, Northern?
Yeah, it's obviously Anna. She's because she's been the main focus of this, and even though I probably don't prefer the old one, she's really acting her ass off here. And yeah, even though you mentioned that it came across a little girl boss, I didn't think I agree with Blue here because she does fucking try to take them on, then breaks down because she realizes she's in over her head.
Well, I'm going to create YouTube history tonight. I'm going to do something no YouTuber's ever done before. I'm going to change my mind during a live stream, and now that we have discussed it constructively among the group of us, I actually think, okay, do you know what? It's inclusion. Now I think about it. See, my gut reaction was to rebel against that choice because it is often inserted in a lot of shows and it is often a very poor choice. But now I've thought about it. Now I've discussed it with you. People have pointed things out to me and stuff like actually she puts herself in that situation deliberately so that her only option is to commit seppuku. It makes perfect sense that it's in there, and it makes perfect sense that it's set up earlier in the show. So actually now I think it's fully justified. So I was wrong. Oh, that's another thing. I've just that's twice history has been created on this stream. A YouTuber's admitted they got something wrong and they've changed their mind on something. We have created history tonight on the Outcast Creative Channel, ladies and gentlemen. It can happen. You can have a constructive decision and someone can change their mind after thinking about something. It can happen. Let's hope that happens in the Middle East pretty soon. It would be really good if that did happen. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's also the beauty of when you have a panel of sometimes 4 or 5 people. You ever notice that you might review something and you watch someone else review it and you're like, wow, I didn't think of it that way. Now I kind of changed my mind about certain aspects of a movie.
Indeed. Yeah. So has anybody got anything else they want to say about it? I'm sorry. Go on, Darth. Jump in.
Off the top of my head, there's the scene where she was doing the poetry line and she mentioned the leafless branch. I just wanted to throw the question out there. What do you think that Marco is referring to there?
I never thought of that.
I thought she was referring to her marriage.
Yeah, it's very personal. You can tell that comes from a place of
I wasn't sure, but if my gut feeling would be her marriage. But what, Darth, can you enlighten us? Is it in the book?
Well, yeah, but I have my own theory about what she meant by that.
Well, tell us your theory.
Well, I don't think she's referring to Lady Ochiba. That seems to be what.
I didn't think that.
Okay.
But what do you think?
I think she's referring to the Toyotomi clan as a whole. It's a branch that has no leaves. In other words, she's hinting at something that Toyotomi, that is the late Taiko, may not be the father of the heir, and Mariko is hinting is through that little line of poetry is hinting that she knows that. And that's why.
That makes perfect sense, actually. Yeah, as in he was a man who could have no children, a branch who has no leaves.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why I think that's
no
the
wonder
best
you're
ending.
Darth Plato.
Well, I didn't. I wasn't. I was given the name as a dysphorism, but I appreciate that.
So now we have to speculate on who could be the Daddy-O. Maybe Daddy-O's Toranaga. Yeah. We both said that at the same time. Toranaga, I feel Toranaga's seed is spread far and wide, judging by
he just
the number
had
of
another
children
baby.
Keep popping up.
Power gets the women, doesn't it? So yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting one.
You know, Lance, this entire scene was great hearing these two characters with their history, but that was my favorite part. And like again, with her Mariko and the acting, you can see it, her tears, also her voice breaking, because you know, Toranaga, he wants this to end. No, he doesn't. She's like, looks at her, aren't you tired of all this?
Yeah.
And that's just like the way when her voice broke, I'm like, oh man, great job. Because
this
both
was
of them,
my second favorite scene in the show.
Because even too, because she's like, you have the power to end this, and she says that she's like, I'm powerless, and she's like, well, I don't exist except to protect my son. And so these are two women, they're both just like so tired of their lives, like, and that's why she's crying, like, you know, aren't like, you know, we all want this shit to end.
Yeah, I mean it's that scene, quite a short scene, but it's good.
Yeah.
Our RTNZ says it's Toranaga. Yeah, could be.
It's Toranaga what? The father?
Yeah.
Apparently so.
Speaking of Toranaga, I'll pose another one to you.
Okay.
So when Blackthorn says to Mariko, Toranaga sent you here to die on purpose. Do you agree with that?
I don't know, man.
I don't think he sent her there to die, but she knew that she could.
Yeah.
It's a suicide mission. I mean,
it was a suicide
mission. So
it's a mission with a very probable outcome that she might not survive. But
yeah. Well, because like remember in the last episode, he asked her in the last scene, he's like, "Are you willing to do your duty?" So it's like, you know, I don't want you to die, but like you may have to for the cause, and it also shows how committed she is to Toranaga. Where you know what, I may have to end my life to because these guys are looking at the bigger picture.
And Nazarion says, "Wow, we even get a repeat of it after when Yashubi says it for the people who didn't get it, and I still didn't get it." Yeah, no, I missed that completely. Good to see you, Tom B. No ladies here.
We're all men.
Yeah, so
it does show the whole tone of the show, Lance. Where these characters, how you know this society, how faithful they are to their lord, how much they care about Toranaga, and like these guys will actually kill themselves for in service for their their lord and their master, however you want to
I completely forgot that she had a son. I just don't remember him in the early episodes. Did he get much screen time? I don't remember him.
He got a couple of screen times, I think in episode 1 and 2. Last time I saw him, I think it was episode 3 when they were leaving the castle.
I just don't remember him. Kind of concerns me that.
No, Leroy's right. He was featured in earlier episodes.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he's wrong. I just concerns me that I don't remember him.
Not a lot of airtime.
I mean, it's not untypical for me, unfortunately. Like I say, if I don't write stuff down, I don't remember it. So.
Yeah, a curious detail about him in the book, though, is apparently he has a deformed hand. I don't know if that's true in this series, though.
I haven't seen it in the series.
Northern, you watched the Chamberlain version recently.
Yeah.
Did you?
I don't remember him in the original version.
I don't think he was in the original version. If he was, I've definitely also forgotten that. No, I was going to ask you a different topic. Did you feel that the attack on the castle with our shinobi was better in the Chamberlain version or better in this version?
Yeah, because you could actually see it. Even though the remake is a bit more violent and gory, you can see what was happening in the original. Because even though it's dark, they still gave some lighting so you could make out what's happening, because that's the whole point. You got to know that this guy is betraying everyone.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't like the fact they're dressed like American ninjas.
I mean, I can get past the historical inaccuracies of the original, because it is romantic, isn't it? It's a more romanticized version of history. But
I disagree. I one of the reasons why I like this one, because it's more historically authentic and accurate, and
I like it as well. I like the historical effect.
And nothing against the original version, but I think there's one of the reasons why a lot of Japanese folks had a problem with the Richard Chamberlain version, because it was so romanticized, historically inaccurate. They felt offended by it. So, I can respect that.
It didn't seem very offensive. The original, it seems like it treated the characters and the tradition and history with some respect, even though it was taking some liberties. But I didn't think it was going out of its way to be very mean spirited. And I've not really heard a bad word from any Japanese people talking about
Leroy,
it.
what's your source for that? Because
I remember in one of our earlier episodes, someone in the chat room said that a lot of Japanese were upset with the So
your source being someone in a chat room.
Yeah,
it's not a very credible source. I'm just going to say.
I'll have to look further deeper into it, though. But I don't know, Japanese, they seem to be very lenient on what's offensive. It's like when Scarlett Johansson was cast as the main character in Ghost in the Shell. They did not seem angry about it at all.
What about Rise of the Sun with Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes? I heard a lot of Japanese Americans were upset about that movie.
Oh, I mean, that scene, I watched You Only Live Twice at the cinema again about 7 years ago, and I mean that scene was just beyond embarrassing.
It's terrible.
This is the original version. You can watch it online, and this is a scene from that scene, and that same character, and the bad guys are all dressed in black and what have you. So I don't know that it's particularly it's in terms of like length and everything, it's not that different. I just found this version a lot more exciting, and I do own this incidentally on VHS and various other formats, but for quick reference, you can find it on Internet Archive if you care to check. I think that's a legal site, right? I hope so.
Yeah, I think that the Internet Archives is incomplete.
Oh, what the whole version they've got there is incomplete?
That's what I heard. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't actually tried looking it up myself.
Yeah, because in that fight scene, it just feels like the whole thing takes place in a couple of rooms, and I get, okay, maybe their set wasn't all that, but in this version, there's a lot more stuff happening. They go up and down stairs and so on, and they go up to this tower and everything. And there's a lot more guys as well. There's a lot more guys.
There would be.
You see what's happening. Look, you can see everything here.
Yeah, and I mean, actually, and I've watched this recently, and I'm thinking, maybe this version was a bit overlit and studio-like, but actually, it's not. It's pretty well done, and down that corridor, it still looks like night with the moonlight coming in. I think they should have gone for a moonlight vibe, so we could have seen a bit more. And I also just felt it was all over a bit too quick. I've got a little bit of concern now about the last episode, because I'm worried that, first of all, there's quite a lot to come in the book after this.
But they said it's not. I read somewhere there's not going to be a second season. It's just a miniseries.
Yeah, no, it's just supposed to be the one book. So there's quite a lot to come in the book after this seat, and I'm a bit worried that an hour's not going to cut that.
One of the important
big
scenes
coming up, haven't you? You got Blackthorn dealing with the loss of Mariko. You got the fact that he's I don't know. Maybe he might actually consider going back to England, but I have a feeling that his ship's going to be taken from him and destroyed.
They're not going to do. They're not going to do the scene where where the crew member dies on the beach. We're not going to see the crew again. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah,
the crew are done. We're not going to see the crew again.
Yeah, Dan Can has just sent something about Toshiro Mifune was a big star in Japan. I don't think the Japanese were offended by anything.
No,
yeah, that's reminded me of something because when I was watching a little bit of some YouTube documentary about it, they was working with the Japanese. So if the Japanese,
it was co-financed by Japan. The original miniseries. It was shot entirely in Japan, and it was almost an entirely Japanese crew, apart from a few heads of department. So, and also don't forget that it was predominantly a Japanese language show. The only person who spoke English in it was Richard Chamberlain and the priests. That was it, and there were no subtitles. So, you're talking about a show where at least 50% of the dialogue was Japanese. It was a huge hit worldwide. There might have been some people that didn't like it, but one bloke on the internet telling another bloke, "Yeah, my uncle hated it." It's,
I feel you, man.
There's not for a storm in a teacup, mate. But I was a bit disappointed with this attack scene because I knew it was coming, and I wanted a bit more. I thought we would. We only got one guy coming over the wall. That was it. That was the shot we got. I wanted to see like 30, 40 guys come over that wall. They may well have filmed that stuff and perhaps it was edited down. But I was a bit disappointed. And now I'm a little bit worried that we're going to get a cop-out in the next episode where we don't see a big battle with a lot of people. And it's going to be, Toranaga on his horse, smoke in the background, some dead bodies, and we're going to get an after battle shot with a big speech. And it's like, yeah, that's fine, but I still want, you've got to give us a big battle. I want to see an Akira Kurosawa scale of Ran. I want to see something with a lot of banners and flags like in the Last Samurai.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to get it. Honestly,
someone in the chat said that the next episode might be 90 minutes long.
Well, that's what they hope. That's what they see. Leroy, you've got to stop taking these things as facts. That's what they're hoping. They said they hope it's 90 minutes long. Hoping 90 minutes at least. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, like a good big grand feature-length final to end it.
Yeah, it would be good. It would be good. It's either got to have the big battle scene, or there's got to be ninjas abseiling down ropes in a volcano base. If it has one of those two things, I'll be happy. Yeah. Okay, so rating out of 10 for this one. I'm going to give it a point back for the girl boss scene, because actually now I think they were right to include that. History in the making, third time this evening. So I'll give it 8 out of 10. But if the attack scene had been a bit longer and I could see better, and just a bit more had happened in that scene, and I felt the castle was a bit bigger, it would have scored a 9.5. But it's an 8 from me. Blue.
Yeah, I'll go with I'd say 8 as well, only because, like you said, watching again, some of the lighting issues were a problem, but also Mariko, if she would have died committing seppuku with Blackthorn behind her, that would have made sense to me because that was the context of what she had to go through. But her just being up against the door, it just, for me, like, move. I mean, like that.
Yeah, that's not going to protect anyone, though, is it?
That felt like a very pointless death. Like, it's not it's like the whole thing. Like, I don't care if she dies, but the way she dies. And I mean, even like Blackthorn's asking Yabushi, help me push this against the door. And that was just a weird way for her to go out. But regardless, she still hands down carried the episode. So it's still an 8.
Yeah, because in the TV show, the 80 TV show, her taking the blast by the door is almost accidental. It's not deliberate.
She ran up to the doors.
in the Darth in the book, does she deliberately sacrifice herself, or is it accidental?
Yes, she does, and I think it's because she realizes that she is the target of the raid, and she probably it doesn't actually say this. I'm just figuring that because she dies, that means that the shinobi realize that they failed in their mission, and they will withdraw and they will withdraw when they know that she is dead.
Right,
because she wasn't supposed to die.
Yeah, because what she says too, she's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself for this offense, but like it's only 4 you guys inside a little room. It's one thing when she was committing the seppuku, everyone's seeing this as a big display, but it's like you're inside of a hut.
They were supposed to kidnap her, weren't they? That's why.
That's right.
That's why Tashibi says, "Let's go to the gate. We'll be safe there," because he knows they're waiting for her there. They'll just take her out of the city. And Drew Gordon.
Right, who was surprised that Yabu betrayed them? Raise your hand.
I was.
No, I wasn't, because I saw the original. I was like, okay, it's going to happen. Probably.
Even if I hadn't seen the original, I would not have been surprised. But I like the fact that Leroy's prepared to see the best in everyone. That's very endearing.
Thank you.
Leroy, what's your final rating on the episode?
10 out of 10. Sorry.
10.
Sorry, Lance.
10
out of 10. It had me on. Each scene had me on edge. I only agree. The only thing I agree with you guys is they should have named the episode Crimson Sky. It was definitely deceiving. But on that, Anasawa carried the show. I thought Blackthorn was finally getting him stepping up. And Yabashugi, I was really hoping Yabashugi would not do what he did, but I mean the episode was good. 10 out of 10.
I agree with you on that. It shouldn't have been called Crimson Sky because that's the name should be on the final where we finally get to see Crimson.
I mean, you could argue this is Crimson Sky because it's part of his attack plan, technically. So I guess you could argue this is part of his strategy, therefore it's part of Crimson Sky. I'm going to demonstrate again that in my head, I'm sorry, but this is shit lighting. Now, this is still on IMDb from the same scene. I do like to see what's happening.
Where?
I like to see what's happening. These eyes are getting tired. I'm 50 now, come on. So,
which corner? I can't see. Fuck all.
All right. I'm going to go around to each person. What are your predictions for the last episode? But what do you think we're going to see? Covering those two topics, and keep in mind I do have my sand timer here. Blue.
I mean, it's got to be the war episode. Come on, it's a build up of 9 episodes. Do you
think we're going to see the battle or not?
Yes.
Or
I'm hoping we see the battle.
All right. Any other predictions?
No, because I have no idea what's going to happen next. I mean, what the ending's going to be like. So,
Leroy,
I'm with Blue, man. I'm hoping that we'll see a battle. I'm also hoping, not only Blackthorn learns more Japanese, but he ends up with Fuji for the rest of his life. And I'm hoping Toranaga wins and kicks ass. So, but who knows? I'm with Blue on this one.
Don't know if we're going to get to see Fuji again, actually. Who knows? We shall see. Northern, any thoughts, predictions? What do you want to see?
Repeating what everyone else is saying because, I'm really hoping we do see this battle. I'm guessing we will because the things that were spelled out through exposition in the original has been shown a lot more on here. And I really hope that. Agreed. Instead of the original's ending where it goes, he fought a great battle, he totally kicked ass, he even stopped for coffee and donuts on the way. It's
we better not get that scene. I mean, we can have that scene after the battle's been fought, as long as we saw the battle,
Yeah, they go for a McDonald's drive-thru while they're on the way to the battle, something like that. I hope we don't see that.
That'll be like a Hot Shots version of Samurai. Hey, man, thank you for the super chat, RRTNZ, even though I know you're not a big fan of this, and I fear that's going to be articulated in this super chat. If people like this show on its own merits, fair play. But let me tell you, folks, it's a terrible, terrible adaptation, I tell you, terrible, that distorts key characters, omits key scenes, and is filmed in low light, rainy Canada. The book is much better. I rest my case. So I embellished
He
your
needs
there a
to
little bit.
lay off the weed, man.
What?
I say he needs to lay off the weed. Anyone who thinks this show is bad needs to lay off the weed or try some weed.
No, RRTNZ is entitled to have his view, and he is a big fan of the book, and he doesn't like the fact that it's deviating so much from the book. You know, people who are in love with books can. Hunt for Red October is a very good film, but it does two key things in the film differently from the book, and both of them were better in the book.
That's why I've always said when I get into something new like this, if I heard it's a remake or reboot or something, I purposely will wait because I don't want to have that bias going in.
Do the trailers have any action bits we haven't seen? I don't know. Has anybody been able to find that trailer for that new movie with all the warships and stuff in it? Because I'd like to show you that before we end this stream. Let me. I can't remember the name of it. New. Cinema movie, historical film about big battle at sea. Okay. Orang Deadly Sea, the film this might be it. I think I found it. Yeah, I've got it, I think. Let me see if this is the Blue. Can you search for the trailer for this and we'll put it up and then we can
What's the name of it? I'm trying to find it too.
I'll put it in the private chat. I think it's this. Put it in, see if you can get the trailer, mate, and then we'll play it at the end of the stream to go out on.
Okay.
Does look good. Yeah, it's a Japanese film.
Okay, from 2023. All right. Official trailer.
So I think it's a South Korean historical war action film directed by Kim Han-min. It's the third and final film of Kim's trilogies about the Battle of Yi-Sun-sin that started with the film The Admiral Roaring Currents, followed by Hassan Rising Dragon. The film depicts the historical Battle of Noryang, the last major battle of the Japanese invasions of Korea. I said, there you go. Let's have a look at it quickly.
It's only a 1 minute trailer too, so not a lot to.
It's a great trailer.
오늘 밤이요. 이곳 남해 노량에서 적들을 맞이할 것이오. 시센노 시마진 지타요. 나타나. 리순신 수추진노 요이자. 준텐조의 묵고. 함께 싸우고자 하지 않는다면 조명연합 함대는 오늘로 해체하겠어. 너를 왜 대정체 쏠라?
Damn.
이수진가 반드시 놈들을 열도 끝까지라도 쫓아서 기어이 완전한 항복을 받아내어야 한다. 발포하라!
Damn.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. We should do a stream where we review all three of those movies together. So we should try and watch those as a trilogy. That looks pretty good. Pretty good.
Some intense battle sequences there.
Yeah. And RRTNZ, I am taking on board what you said, mate. I appreciate that you know, it's not the version of the book that you want to see, and that's fair enough, mate. It's not going to be for everybody. And Dan Candy's not a fan either, although he did give this episode 10 out of 10. The Roaring Currents trilogy. I've seen the first Roaring Currents movie. It is insane. It's an insane film. It's got a mega action stuff in it. That's just like another level. So I highly recommend them. So Blue, what you got coming up?
Hopefully tomorrow I want to do a live reaction video with Enzo and Lord Toxic for that new ballerina vampire movie. It looks just stupid fun. Oh, Abigail. I mean, who doesn't want to see a 12-year-old vampire girl killing a bunch of grown men? Well, why not?
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I can think of right now. I mean, actually, I'm hearing this new Nick Cage movie is getting some interesting reviews, and it's Nick Cage's two kids, the apocalypse, killing creatures. Why not?
Northern, got anything coming up?
Yeah, I said last time I had Dead Men Don't Wear played with Ziggs Horseman, but apparently that's next week. This week on Friday, 6 p.m. my time will be Collateral with Lord Toxic. And I think next week I might try and do a little review for the Fallout TV show because that's been really good. I like the way it ended.
I'd say same. Big thumbs up from me. I really like it. I'm a big fan of the game, especially New Vegas, and I think they got it just right. I really think it's a really good adaptation. I don't understand why some people hate it, and I think they're just hating it for the sake of hating it. I just, it's well done.
Yeah, no, they don't seem to realise that. Yeah, it's a female-led. It's very diverse. It's female-led, but it does have good characters, and it does have. We are seeing these characters evolving in this harsh environment, like
and none of the characters are super good, like either everything or morally.
It's morally grey.
Yeah, everybody's kind of like got something bad going on as well as something good going on about them, and no one's completely good at everything. There's no like,
even Maximus is kind of a dick as well. He's
things.
He's starting to feel, and he's starting to come to terms with the fact that he may be just as bad as the people who's hate him.
Yeah, and I can't stand his character, but I still enjoy watching his scenes. Because you kind of enjoy watching his misfortune because he's such a dickhead. So good writing, you see. Good writing. That's what it is. Well, we're going to be back for the final episode of Shogun next week. But I've got a couple of announcements. So apart from the fact that I'm doing an interview on Diabolical Souls channel in about an hour's time, I'm also going to be on Cannoli Sasquatch's channel on Friday. I have also confirmed Damon Herriman as the next industry interview guest on the Outcast Creative channel, and I'm also waiting for a confirmation date for someone even bigger than him. In fact, bigger than anyone I've had on. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. Plus, on the 28th of April, we are going to be starting on Sunday at 8 o'clock. We're going to be doing our special Band of Brothers review. We're going to be doing an episode a week. This is going to be very different from any other Band of Brothers streams that you might have seen, in the sense that I have someone on the show who's worked behind the scenes, has taken a ton of photographs that they weren't allowed to take during filming, which of course we have access to. So there may be an inside man involved. So we're going to be looking at a lot of different aspects of the show that won't have been talked about on other productions on YouTube, because there's been quite a lot of YouTube things about Band of Brothers, and I'm going to give you a little taste of that now. So for example, when they filmed the Statue of Liberty, it was done like this. Out on the tarmac of what previously was an airport in Hatfield, just to show you one thing there. And then I've got loads of other stills. We will also be doing an episode on the episode that was cut, because we have the script. So we'll be going through that episode, which is called, I think it's called Personal Effects was the name of the episode. And the whole episode is about them trying to identify a dead GI, a dead paratrooper, and get their personal effects back to their family, but they don't know who they are. And we're going to be going through that episode in some detail. So we're going to be doing a lot of content about Band of Brothers that you will not have ever seen before on a stream. That's the whole idea. And there you go. There's the bit where the Shermans arrive in episode 3 on the back on the set there. So fab. Don't forget to check out Leroy's books as well. They're available on Amazon. Various Tales of the Wild West and so on. Darth Plato is popping up on various other streams now and then, including this one, of course. Anything else, Darth? You got coming up?
Did you want me to answer that before or after I give you the rating for the show?
Oh, have I not done you? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Tell us your rating, sir, please, and then you tell me what else you got coming on.
I'm giving it an 8.
Looks like I'm the only one who thinks the show was good. It got solid 10.
I mean, it's
8 and above is a good rating. What are you on about? I don't know where people get off. And 7 is good.
It's not perfect. We can, you know, we can like something.
Some of my favorite movies are like an 8 out of 10.
It is a justified rating. I can defend.
I think it's a justified rating. Yeah. Okay.
As far as what to expect for next episode, what I really like to see is the scene where he's being led around the streets with the blindfold by the Catholic priest, because that's a pretty amazing scene, having a Catholic priest leading around a Protestant, protecting him.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how they cover that.
I don't think they are. I don't think we are going to see that scene because they didn't. Because the only reason why that scene happened is because Mariko begged Alvito to protect Blackthorn. That scene did not take place in the series, so we may not see it at all.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to see the scene with the crewman where the crewman then dies on the beach. That's not going to happen.
It didn't. Well, it didn't happen in the book either. I don't think.
No,
I remember that.
I think the show will finish with the ship being burned. I think that's going to be the final shot. Is his ship being burned?
Yeah, I don't remember if he died actually. Come to think of it.
No, we discussed that before. You told me that he did, but in the book it didn't specify how. He just collapsed. Okay, well, that's it, guys. We'll be back again next Tuesday with the Nielsen ratings at 10 o'clock. Last episode of Shogun on Wednesday. I've also got a Chew the Fat special on Special Bulletin on Sunday, April the 21st. That's the first film directed by Ed Zwick, who also directed The Last Samurai, which I'm sure some of you definitely enjoy. Until then, that's it from the Outcast Creative. Thanks to my awesome co-hosts, Blue Collar Loser, Northern English Bastard, Darth Plato, Leroy A with capital and a dot, Peters, and also all the people in chat who commented. Really appreciate you coming on. Even if you don't agree with what we're saying here, the fact that you took part, you're always welcome here. Until then, we will see you all again real soon.